Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Exploration Archive. We left James Cook last time, and as they sailed back, the crew reflected on the cost of their discoveries. Today, we pick up where we left off. As the Endeavour journeyed further south, the crew faced the harsh realities of the Southern Ocean. The air turned colder, and the sea grew increasingly formidable. Their vessel, newly refitted, braved not just the ice, but the very limits of human endurance. This was a world transformed, a theater of ice where survival was the only act.
Aurelius, the challenges weren't just about the harsh environment we faced. They cut deep into our minds. The crew, who used to swagger in the taverns, now found themselves weighed down by the isolation and relentless cold. It wasn't simply a test of our navigation skills. It was a trial of our very humanity. Each day became a stark reminder of how vulnerable we are, how quickly bravado can fade when faced with the raw realities of survival.
The crew's resilience was pushed to the brink. As we ventured into the ice-scoured sea, the horizon faded into a blanket of low clouds, swallowing the light. The deck, slick with rime, became treacherous underfoot. Men padded along, their hands gloved against the bitter wind, feeling the ship groan and strain under the icy weight. Each wave hit like a hammer, reminding us of nature's indifference. And yet, here we were, bound by duty and the relentless pull of the sea.
But let's not forget the human cost of this expedition. Food scarcity changed the ship's culture in profound ways. As fresh provisions dwindled, tensions rose and friendships frayed. Small injuries, which might have seemed trivial before, became serious threats. The relentless darkness and isolation pressed down on the men, making them turn inward. Instead of finding strength in each other, they found despair. It was heartbreaking to see how quickly hope could wither away in such dire circumstances.
Fair points. Yet, we can't overlook how remarkable the crew's ability to adapt truly was. They faced perilous conditions that would have sent most into panic. Take that moment of greatest nautical hazard, for instance. The ship drew near a colossal wall of ice, with pressure ridges looming like ancient fortifications, ready to crush the Endeavour like a tin can. It was their skill, along with a generous dash of luck, that kept them afloat and moving forward.
Luck? Soyen. Or maybe it was desperation that drove them. Those men moved with a caution that revealed their deep awareness of mortality. A single misstep could send them plunging into those icy waters below. The truth was inescapable. They weren't merely navigating a river. They were balancing life and death in every step they took. Every choice carried weight, a burden so heavy that no logbook could ever truly capture it. They were risking everything, and that reality hung in the air.
You're right about that. The repairs they undertook became both a physical and moral endeavor. Timbers flexed under pressure, and as planks were shaved and refastened, the crew felt the weight of their mission. This was not just an exploration. It was a struggle for survival. On the deck, they were both laborers and warriors.
Exactly. And yet, amid these trials, they made significant discoveries that changed everything. They charted latitudes no European had seen before, uncovering landscapes rich with life and culture. Their findings weren't just about maps. They questioned everything we thought we knew about the southern continent. This wasn't merely about exploration. It was about reshaping our understanding of the world and the people who called it home, highlighting the human stories behind these monumental journeys.
Yes. The data they collected bore significant scientific weight. It was a correction to a widely held cosmography, after all. They returned with precise logs of longitudes and detailed sightings of ice, enhancing our understanding of the world. Yet, even with this triumph of knowledge, we can't overlook the heavy toll they endured. Lives were lost, ships abandoned, and dreams shattered. Knowledge often comes at a price. And in the grand tapestry of history, those losses linger dear.
And those losses were profound. Each vacant bunk became a heart-wrenching reminder of the cost of their ambitions. The surgeon's supplies dwindled fast, and remedies that once felt sufficient fell painfully short against the relentless cold. Leadership on these voyages meant more than just navigating through treacherous waters. It demanded a deep empathy for the suffering of the men, understanding their fears, their hopes, and the heavy weight of loss each day brought.
The commander faced tough decisions, constantly balancing the mission against the lives at stake. Critics would later argue whether his choices were too bold or just prudently bold. But on the ice, the tests were immediate and visceral. It was a matter of survival, where scientific ambition collided with human lives. We often see this tension in history, don't we? These moments remind us that the stakes are always high when empires push the boundaries of exploration and power.
This brings us to the essence of discovery. The voyages changed maps and minds, but they came at a steep price. New lands were claimed, yes, but the moral ambiguities hung heavy in the air. The men who endured these trials weren't just explorers. They were burdened with a legacy that included both wonder and suffering. Each step they took opened doors to new horizons, yet it also meant displacing lives and cultures. That's a weight they carried with them.
The Endeavour returned with a wealth of charts and specimens that ignited scientific debates across Europe. This voyage didn't just alter how we viewed the southern reaches of the globe. It reshaped our very approach to exploration. The crew, however, was forever changed by their time at sea. They faced hardships that pushed them to their limits, forcing them to confront fears and expand their understanding of what it truly means to be an explorer.
That's where we leave it this time. James Cook continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Exploration Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.